What's up, Chili? G'day, I'm Baz. This is iSharpen, and today we have subscriber mailbag knife sharpening. If you want, you can send me your knives and I'll sharpen them. And today we've got Tim's knives. So let's have a look and see what's in here. I've had a bit of a peek, but I don't know what's in here. I can't remember what Tim said, but they're in the bag. So let's have a look and see what we got. Let's have a look here. Wow, okay. This is interesting. Got some big knives here. Look at this bad boy. That's the biggest globe I've ever seen in my entire bloody life. So let's have a look at that. Whoa. We can see somebody's been trying. Feels sharp. Maybe it just needs a bevel. This is the new style handle. Wow, okay. And we have a big cleaver. We'll have to leave it to cleaver. Looks like somebody's been trying. This is very fat though, so I'm guessing a smaller angle or a bigger angle is needed there. And by smaller I mean bigger. Here we have a classic G2. Where is it? It's a bit hard to read, but just a normal standard chef knife, similar to the one that I polished for fun. Right, so that shouldn't be drama. Oh, that's a big one. Is that a single bevel? No. It's a double. A G3. Okay, some big... What are you up to here, Tim? What have you got? Just your standard bunker style. They're in pretty good condition. Phone call. And... well, this is very unique. A GS1. Oh yeah, you can see there's lots been going on here. Tim, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to remove all that, nor do I want to. I'm just going to lay my bevels over the top of that. You can see there's a bit of drama been going on here. So that most of that's going to remain, otherwise you don't want me to get rid of all that, because then we're into the real fat of the knife, you know. So I'm just going to lay my bevels over the top and it's going to look the way that it's going to look. And then a little paring knife. No problem. We should be able to hoe through those. I usually start with the hardest first. So I'm going to do this one, this big boy. And normally I do charge a little bit extra for these long ones because they take extra skill. But we'll see what we can do for Timo. He is a subscriber after all. Right. Now some of these are pretty fat, so I'm not going to go to a 14 degree or anything like that. I might just try 32, which is 16 per side. Already set to that. Let's crank it up. Now, because these are all going to need rebuilding, I'm going to start on the 80 grit. So we don't sit here forever. This is where the extended rest, the US 430, comes into action. I would have fallen off the edge here on the normal rest. That was my text message, not yours. So many globals come into my shed, or my workshop. I suppose they're pretty popular. But I've never seen these before. They've got a huge range. Tim, I know you're going to watch this movie, so perhaps leave a comment and let us know what these are used for. If you could, that'd be great. Alright, well I've already got a burr, so that wasn't too bad. I would threaten to charge double, not double, I'd threaten to charge more for one of these, but if it ended up that it was actually quite easy, then I would back down to the normal price. So today, or yesterday, or today, whenever it was, I can't remember, today, I released my new professionally edited movie. And it was done very well. I'm very happy with the editing. But you guys said, no, we want the raw Baz. We don't want shiny, we don't want professional. We come here because you're real and unedited and a larrikin. So maybe the future in this channel is to be raw and real. Real and raw. Give me your comments. The problem with me editing is that I couldn't be bothered. CBF to the max, which means that it takes a lot of time for me to do the job half decent. I mean, pardon me. So I'm going to leave the coughing in and everything, eh? So editing means if I come in close and we zoom in a lot, that all takes hours of my day. I can't be doing that. I can't be doing that. But if you don't mind just this view here without too much zooming in and carrying on, then yeah, I could probably continue along the road that I am currently traveling, which is minimal editing, straight off the phone, straight into your lounge rooms. But it also means I have to gibber and jabber about stuff that may not be knife related. How do you feel about that? Got a fire going today. It's a bit chilly outside. Not you, chilly. Different chilly. The chilly cold, not the chilly dog. Yeah. Sorry about that false alarm there, mate. False alarm. All right, that's done. Over to the honing wheel. Now let me just check to see my camera's straight. Yes, it is. If you want to participate and you're not sure what to say, just tell me where you're from. Say g'day. Tell me what you're watching on. Is it a phone? Is it a TV? Is it a large TV? Is it an iPad? I'm curious. And of course, every comment and every like, so hit that like button wherever it is down here. Please, please hit the like button. I know you like the movie, you're watching it. All the people who just happened to come along to see if it was something they were interested in have already left. Now it's only you guys left. The drop off is in the first 30 seconds. Anyone who's watching after 30 seconds is a true fan. And every time you hit that like button, the algorithm pushes me out to other people. And my dream, well, one of my dreams, one of my aims, is to make a full-time living from this channel. Because then maybe I'll be able to do free knife sharpening. How good would that be? Beautiful. Bet I'll be busy then. Of course, that'll be for subscribers and members only. And I keep talking about the membership, but I haven't done it yet. Still got to figure out how to add amazing and immense value for the members before I start charging even $1. But I don't need much to live. So I've already had a rich lifestyle in a previous life, and it was fun, and I may talk about it one day, but for now, let's have a look. Nice. Happy with that. One down. That was the biggest one. Now the next one I fear is the leave it to cleaver. Really fat, really quick. Have another look at that. Look at that. That is fat as a fat thing. So if I was to put a very sharp angle on there, it would be, the bevel would start coming halfway down here. So I've got to increase my angle. Okay, none of that makes sense, but you know what I mean. I'll show you again. So when the knife is fat, if you put a very sharp bevel on there, or sharp angle, the bevel's going to come halfway down the blade. You don't want that. So you've got to increase and just put a nice little bevel on the top. Now, given that this is such a fat Nelly, it's probably going to be used for chopping, which means that it needs a fat angle anyway. So I'm going to put a 50 on. That's 25 per side, and then we'll have a look. I can always increase it later on. Now, good thing is I'm using the new KJ jig, which has got a horrible top, but I've put a new top on. So now it's gone back to a normal jig. And of course we have the self-centering where the split goes all the way down and keeps the knife nice and central, which is a good invention. So let's lift it up high. Boost this right up to 25 degrees. Now that's 25 degrees off the primary bevel, not the main shaft or the main plate. So I don't know how that affects the knife. It should do. I should do my mathematics, but I'm just, all I want to do is make sure that it's got a normal size bevel on there. So let's have a look and see what that looks like. Yeah. Don't forget to tighten your wrist. So while I've got you, what sort of things would make a membership worth joining? And I don't want it to be too cheap because YouTube's going to take a lot of it. So I want to make something. And if I'm going to put a lot of effort in, then I want to make something out of it. Is that fair? I think so. So things like discounts, obviously, on a Baz knife. Discounts at the iSharpen shop, which is at iSharpen.shop. That's iSharpen.shop, not .com, .shop. I was thinking of including live sessions. I don't do live sessions much because they're such a hassle and hardly anybody rocks up. So live sessions, I was thinking. What else could I throw in? What else would make it worthwhile? Obviously you would want that for as cheap as possible, and obviously I want to charge as much as possible. Real talk, right? But I don't want to become rich off one person. I want to become free from like 1,000 people. So why would 1,000 people join? What about if I kept all the talk about running the business and how much I make and all that in the private membership area, so when we can talk freely, because it's a little bit, I don't know, what's the word? Not rude, but it's a little bit, I don't know, uncool to talk about how much money you're making off people while you're sharpening their knives. But I realise that there's quite a few of you who, hopefully through my influence, want to start sharpening. I highly recommend it. You could make several $100s a day, up to $1,000 if you're busy on some days, easily. That's in a normal 8-hour day. You could do farmers markets, like Honed by Jones. Hey, I like this bevel. What do you reckon? What do you think of this? Does that look normal? I think it does. I think that'll be hardy and sharp. So I'm going to leave it there. Oh, what I might do, take it down to 320, or make sure that it stays at 320. Because I've been talking with some people, and they said, how many subscribers have you got? I said, I don't know, about 70,000. And they said, how many private members are you charging? I said, oh, I don't know, about 0. They said, you're crazy, man, you're crazy. Do you know how much money you can make? I said, yeah, I could make, but I don't want to just charge to give you an icon. Every time you make a comment, you got a silly green little icon. What's the benefit there? Unless the benefit is some people just want to support. I want to throw a couple of bucks in a month. You can afford $2 or $5 or something a month just to sort of pitch in, make sure I stay alive. There's that. I could always do tiered memberships, couldn't I? What about giveaways? I could make, we could have competitions. I could do giveaways. Give away a Baz knife. I could give away free sharpening. I could, I don't know, what else could I give away? Free merch. Well, it's not free, is it, if I have to pay for it? Hello, Chili. You've come to join us, have you? Hey, do you know how much they love you? Do you know how much these people love you? They love you so much, man, that I'm thinking some of them might even want to come and move in here with me just so they can be close to you. That's true, mate. Do you know how true that is? Yeah, man. That is so true. Such a good sport. You're such a good sport. Why are you trembling? Are you cold? You've got a fire out there, man. Go and sit by the fire. I've got to be honest. When I started this channel, I never thought that I'd be talking to you guys like this. I thought I had to be all professional and scripted, and this is how we do this, and this is how I do that, and exactly reasons and technical, and that's the only thing you'd be interested in. But it turns out you guys just want to hang out here. And it's like you're visiting, without the traffic. They just want to visit, Chili. They want to hang out with you. All right. Let's see how we go. How sharp can this be? Excuse me. Now, very hard for a 50-degree knife to slice through a tally ho, but I'll give it a go. What I'm aiming for with this is magazine slicing. If I can slice through a magazine, I think it's plenty sharp for what it's mostly about to do, but let's give it a go, see what happens. You never know your luck. How about that? Close enough. Close enough. That's all I wanted out of that. So that's good news. Next we'll go with the G3. Sounds slightly political. Oh. Now we're going to lower this again. Oh, you know what? Couldn't be bothered. Oh, lovely. With this one I'm going back to 32 degrees. So 16 degrees per side for the newbies. If you're new here, welcome. Consider subscribing. Hit the button, there it is. I want you to be a part of this family. I want your comments. I want to know where you live. I want to know your questions. I read every single comment. I respond to probably 80% of them. Some of them will only need an acknowledgement, a heart, so you'll get a heart. That tells you that I've read it and I appreciate it. I'll fire back if you want to fire lob bombs at me. I'll send them back. But don't. Because I'm harmless, or mostly harmless. I've been upgraded. Who knows that reference? Over there. But these knives are in excellent condition, so credit to Timbo for these. Or is it Timbo? Timbo? What do they call you, Tim? Just going to give him a little bit more. So if you want me to sharpen your knives, send them down. So far I've only been doing Australian knives, but if you're from overseas, wouldn't that be hilarious? The cost of shipping would be prohibitive, but maybe I can work with you on that a little bit to help you out, because I do make money from the videos, and I make around about, just so you know, what's up, Mr. Chili? Oh, I have visitors to pick up the gardening shears. I sharpened these earlier. Using the 1x30 and some lessons from Cliff Curry. So I'll be back in a minute. Well, he was wrong. Nobody here for us. Nobody here for us, mate. Nobody. You were wrong. So you owe me a kiss. Come on. Good lad. More action than I've seen in this century, mate. I'm guessing that there were people out front, but they just weren't for us. They're just people either walking past or too close to the premises. Back off. So am I becoming a vlog? Like a podcast or something? Where you're here for the conversation as well as the sharpening? Seems to be all the rage these days. Perhaps I should bring guests in. Well, I am. Here you go. Timbo. Timbo's a guest. You don't say much though. Now, have I told you that I suspect that my using the microfiber cloth to remove the wax from the blade edge might be removing some of the burr as well? Something to think about. Beautiful. Let's have a look here. Beautiful. Actually, it was a slightly noisy. Slightly noisy. So I might just finish it on the suede a little bit, because Timbo deserves the absolute best, right? I'll give my best to everyone because it pleases me. I know I'm practicing, I'm not the best, but I certainly want to be. Okay, has that improved it? Oh, it has. Oh, magnificent. Great news. So I discovered a new method of lighting my fire. So I put the hardwoods underneath, then I put some pallet wood blocks and things on the top, then I pour a heap of petrol on, no kindling, just a bit of petrol there, a little bit more, and then I take one of my scrunched up paper tests, I light it and I stand back and poof, lovely fire instant. And I was being all Boy Scout about it with the kindling and the stacking and the petrol. That is the secret. Beautiful, beautiful. Right, now the G2. Ooh, this one here has suffered a little. I want to know what the story is here, Tim. What's been going on, mate? I'm going to embarrass you a little bit, but that's okay, because it's in good hands now. But this looks a lot like my first knife. I think what you were doing here is you were, instead of just going straight along, as you're coming along, you were lifting up. I'll show you what I mean. Oops. Oh, while you're there, Chili. G'day. I'll show you what I mean. Instead of lifting the handle, and I did this when I started, so it's nothing to be super embarrassed about. I mean, I was a bit embarrassed after I figured out, is that people presume, and it's natural to presume, that as the knife comes up, then you've got to rotate it. And as you rotate it, look what happens. The tip starts moving down the knife and scratching the side. I reckon that's what's happened. But the good news is that you didn't do it very much. You had a few goes, and then you thought, this doesn't feel right, man. And you've got a few multiple facets here as well. So I think maybe, I'm guessing, you might have been freehanding off the front. Could that be what was happening? Let me know. How did we get here? And remember, this is just for learning. We're not here to embarrass anyone. .32 degrees again. I'll stick it on the 80. Just to make short work of the initial beveling. Now I do remember that we've had this conversation before, and Tim probably already told me in an email what's going on. And we may never know because we'll probably have this conversation separately. But the important thing is you gave it a go. And it's un-Australian not to give it a go. You've got to give things a go. So, Tim, as you're watching, see how even and Steven I am? And I never rotate, I always lift. Lifting has the same effect. I know it's weird, but it does. And of course I lift to start the knife. I lift on the tip, and then I lower it down for the rest of it. Let me just check something. Do you know what? Your name may not even be Tim, it's T. All I got was an initial on that box. We shall call you Tim. You could be Tom, you could be Terry. Pardon me for not remembering. The real names don't really matter, do they? In fact, I'm going to call you Timbo. Are you calling Wolf again? What's the matter, Mr. Chili? What do you think? You're excited, mate? What for? Okay, we have a burr and we have a bevel. So now let's bring it down to the 320 to finish it off. Yes, I do have a bit of a sniffle going at the moment. We've had some very cold days here, and by very cold I don't mean snow or anything. Some of you guys experience some really cold days, but we don't here. Just a bit of rain, bit of wind. Had a lovely chef come in today, first time customer, and I introduced her to 70s music. It's pretty random, wasn't it? Anybody else into hot rods? I've had some 32s, some 34s, 28 Chevy. I had a 56 Chevy. I had a 66 Buick Electra with a 401 and dual carbs. That was when I started my website called buickstreet.com, which became quite popular among the Buick people. And so in 2002, I went to America to do some drag racing. That was good fun. That's where I met Jack Cotton from Agawam, Massachusetts. I think so. He was into turbo Buicks of the wheel standing variety. You know, the GN, the Grand Nationals, those sort of things. Wow. And I raced at the Bristol Raceway. Some of you may be familiar. Had a beautiful road trip from Massachusetts down to Tennessee. And I've got to say, American drivers are crazy. Crazy bastards. Crazy. 80 miles an hour everywhere. But I met some fantastic people, and I've got to tell you, every single person I met in America, every single, without a doubt, without an exception, was a fantastic person. They were very fascinated in me. They'd often ask me to repeat what I said. I said, I'm sorry, my Australian accent, it must be a bit difficult for you to understand. They said, no, we understood, we just want to hear you say it again. Bless them. Good folks. Car people are good people. Lovely. Now a little bunker and then only 2 after this. So thanks for hanging around. Let me know if you're still here. Start your comment with the words hanging in there. Or I hung in there. Or I watched the whole movie, or something like that. So if I can get away with sharpening on the fine setting, I will. I really only go to the 80 grit when I have something severe to repair. And of course the 80 grit means that this doesn't mean that this wheel is 80 grit. It's actually about 3 times that number. So the 80 grit diamond plate, I know some of you know this, but some of you don't. The 80 grit diamond plate times 3, 240, it's about 250 on the wheel. And the 320 grit diamond plate times 3 is about 960, 970, 980, 1000 on the actual wheel. So that should fit in nicely with what you expect. 250 grit, 1000 grit. And the reason I get such slicey edges on the paper is because I finish on the 8000 grit honing wheel. And that gives it a very fine apex. That's my secret. Not that it's a secret, it's actually the method. The standard method. I didn't invent any of this. What did I invent? I invented, well, in my world, I invented tip first. Call it the dive bomb. And many of you are using the dive bomb technique. Here it is again. Tip first. That gives you beautiful tips and controlled heels. But apparently others also invented it in their own worlds. There's a word for simultaneous invention, isn't there? What's that phrase? You've heard of it. Where at the same time different things were invented around the world by pure coincidence, unrelated, discoveries. What's that phenomena called? Leave a comment if you know the answer. There is no prize. The prize is community participation. And it's given to everyone. We all win. That's a bit deep, isn't it? Deep. Now, given that you're telling me to put no effort into the production of these movies, just do your thing, the thumbnail for this is going to be very similar to the thumbnail of the other mail order or mailbag video from yesterday. When did I put that up? Yesterday. So don't expect Mr. Beast level thumbnails out of me. Not if you're going to insist that I be myself. Alright. Fingernail test. Oh, smoother than a really smooth thing. If you want to know how much money I make from these videos, it's about $5 per 1,000 views. So you can do your own mathematics there. One of them has 500,000 views. That's the horror film. If you're not sure which the horror film is, just look for the thumbnail that says horror. What's going on? And for the shorts, it's about 5 cents per 1,000. So you need millions there. Strangely enough, my biggest earning movie was a short. It went off to make 57 million views. Earned me about 4.5 grand. Nice. Oh, better. Lovely. Jubbly. Right, now this weird one. What's this used for, I wonder? Weird. Weird. It doesn't matter that it's curved up. I always have it so that it sits pretty much as straight as possible along the wheel. If it's very curved, I'll lift it up a little bit at the heel, lift it up a little bit at the tip, and have the belly be the main angle. So these are all behaving very well at 32 degrees. So I'm going to continue along that vein. I need one more knife after this. So if you've hung in this far, hit that like button. And while we're talking about things, I still have some Baz knives. Sales have dropped off a little bit lately because I'm not really promoting it very much. Plus I haven't really had many movies in the last 2 weeks. Some of you were complaining, but geez, give us a break. I put 740 odd movies up in the last 14 months. I think that's a terrific effort. Do you agree? So sometimes I need a break. I'm not going anywhere. Okay. All the creaking and groaning, it's like we're in an old ship or something. What's happening up there? The mice and the rats are walking around maybe. Okay, we've got good burrage. We've got a good bevel. Maybe a little bit more on this side. Right, tip on this one needs a bit more work. I've got to be perfect for the subscribers, perfect for everyone, but most perfect for the awesome subscribers. That's better. So those of you who are inquiring about my motorbike, how it's going, I'm collecting parts. Found some rare parts in Italy. They've just arrived, which is pretty strange. My bike is a 1981 GSX 1100 Suzuki. Look that up and you'll see. Beautiful bike. Rectangular headlight. Those of you who know what I've got. Oh, I'll leave that on there. This is the badge. You know that badge? Hello, Chili. What are you doing? You're watching? You're just watching? You know, some people watch my movies just to see you. Look at this. You know, some people watch my movies just to see you. Did you know that? That's true. Yeah. It's true. Your head tilter, you. You're nothing but a head tilter. You've got a very tilty head. Why are you trembling? It's not that cold. And make them think I'm neglecting you or something. You weren't neglected this morning when you were lying across me in the bed, taking up all of the bed. I felt like I was married to 16 people, mate. Let's have a look. Yeah, a little bit misbehavey. Or is it misbehavey? Oh, much better. See, a bit of stropping goes a long way. Don't worry if you don't have kangaroo tail. Only Australians can have kangaroo tail. You can use horsehide. That was very traditional. All the barbers, they use horsehide. And they use horsehide that's been embossed, stamped, with patterns on the top. And that gives it the grip and the whatever. Or you can use buffalo. Get creative. Let me know what you're using. I don't think it matters that much, to be honest. I mean, I know this helps, but maybe this helps because anything helps. Maybe even raw cow leather, although I think that's a bit soft. You want something that's got a little bit of guts to it, you know? Do you agree, Mr. Chili? You do? I wonder, can they even see you in the corner there? Oh, they can't see you, but you're right there. Eh? Right there. All right, now this one. I'll leave it a bit higher, I think, 34, 36. Not really that much room on these to move around with a bevel. This is the last knife, so we're getting near the end. Thank you for watching. This is where I'd normally put the music on. You'd start to feel the music, but lately I've been having some trouble with copyright. They won't release it quick enough. Sometimes it takes them a couple of days, and really I couldn't be bothered with that sort of behaviour. So no music it is. Plus music is trendy, so let's do no music. Let's buck the trend. Just do normal sharpening and buffoonery. Beautiful. Last honing of the movie. Leaving it on the jig makes it very easy to work with. This, for example, if I was trying to hold the handle and do this, it's a bit awkward. Okay. Ooh, a little bit more. Lovely. That's it, we're done. So, thanks for keeping me company while I did those, all those globals. Oh, fascinating, weren't they? Big ones. Fat axe. Yep. Well, that's it. So thank your mother for the rabbits. Thank your father for the turnips. Don't forget to return the wheelbarrow. See you in the next one.